welcome to my channel. My name is Facundo Nia and I hope you're doing fine. Today I'm here to talk about Bamse. Bamse is a cute little bear from Sweden and he's a cartoon character and he's also in comic books. I like Bamse. I read Bamse when I was a kid and I read Bamse for my kid. So Bamse is very cute. The thing with Bamse is he eats thunder honey, and when he eats dunderhonung, thunder honey, he becomes super strong and he becomes the strongest bear of them all. So he's like "Nom, nom, nom," and he becomes so strong, but he's always very nice and always very helpful. So his character doesn't change, he just becomes stronger. Everybody else who eats the thunder honey, they become very ill. Like, oh, they get tummy aches for several days. But Bamse, he doesn't get tummy ache, he just becomes strong. Another person who becomes strong is oldest daughter. When she eats it, she becomes very strong and she gets tummy ache, but she becomes strong too. So two people become strong eating thunder honey. And the one that makes the thunder honey is actually farmor, and she lives very high up in the mountains in Småköping, where they all live. Now, I'm gonna talk about the latest Bamse movie, Bamse and the Secrets of the Sea. I like the movie. The movie is very cute, and I want to make a review. First, I'm gonna make a breakdown of the movie, and then I'm gonna make a review. So, let's begin. It's very late at night, and Skalman is working on his experiments. Because Skalman, he is like Donatello in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He always makes experiments and machines and stuff like that. They're very similar that way. Okay, Skalman, he doesn't do any kung fu or martial arts. That would be cool. Maybe they should like a Skalman Donatello thing when they join forces and they create this very cool machine. That would be cool to read or watch. There is something mysterious happening in the sea outside Småköping. Although the weather is beautiful, large waves suddenly wash over the harbor, the pier, and the small town. Like, is this a tsunami? We don't know yet. Both are thrown ashore, and pirates even end up stuck in a spruce tree. What could be causing such powerful waves? I'm gonna tell you later. In the morning, Mini Hopp wakes up. Yeah, he's jumping around. He's like all over the place. Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I want to go to preschool. I want to go to preschool. I want to go to kindergarten. Ah! And he wakes up his family. His father is named Lille Skutt. And Lille Skutt is like a hero. But even though he's very scared of everything, he's like, I know, I'm so scared. He's scared of everything. But even though he's scared of everything, he always hangs with his friends and he's always go to all these adventures. And he always helps out, even if he's scared. So I call it brave, because even if he thinks he can't do it, he does it. And he helps a lot. He's very fast. So he's like very helpful. So Lille Skutt's like, no, Mini Hop, the alarm hasn't even gone yet. Oh, come on. No, we have to go. No, we have to go, says Mini Hop. We have to go because he wants to go to the kindergarten named Eken, or the oak tree. Because today they're gonna learn how to play instruments. And Mini Hop is very excited. So Lille Skutt's like, oh, yes, and Mini Hop's like, you have to put on your clothes. And the only clothes it has is like a bow tie. So it's like, it's very funny. So Mini Hop and Lille Skutt goes to kindergarten. And at kindergarten, the teachers give them all the instruments. Here, for you. But one thing happens. Mini Hop, he's like, I want to have the violin. Give me the violin. So he grabs the violin and he starts playing. Because he's very small. So he plays like violin like this. So it's like, but he's very bad at it. So all his friends, everybody, all the kids, except Bru Melissa, starts bullying Mini Hop. You're so bad. You're the worst. Oh, you suck, you suck. And Mini Hop becomes very sad. So when he goes home, Lille Skutt knows something is going on, but he doesn't know what's going on yet. But something is going on with his kid. He's like, I wonder what's going on with my kid. Mini Hop feels very alone because he feels like he doesn't have anybody who wants to be with him, except Bro Melissa.
Vill du att jag ska spela?
So then he decides to go down by the water and starts to play the violin. So he places the bow against the string. Then the water begins to bubble. And something very, very large comes up and rises from the sea. So meanwhile, Bamse, he goes around and eating dunderhoney. Dunderhonung. And he's like this. And when he's super strong from eating thunderhonung, eller dunderhonung, he helps everybody in town. So it's kind of his job. Or I don't know. So he's helping everybody. Today, he's helping everybody after eating some dunderhonung. And he's super strong. So an old lady, she says, "Oh, thank you, Bamse, for helping me. You helped me so much. And please help me next week again." And Bamse says, "Yes, okay. While this is happening, down by the harbor, Bamse hears some fishermen and like, you know what? It was a gigantic fish. It was so big, and it nearly sunk our ship. It's so big." And I was like, "Oh, could it be telling the truth? Could this be one of those fish tales? Are they telling the truth?" But then Skalman says, "Maybe. I think they're telling the truth." He was making experiments. He felt something, and he saw something going on. So maybe Skalman knows something. And then Lille Skutt and Bamse are out by the trees, and Bamse is like cutting down trees. That's actually his job too. So Lille Skutt says, "I'm very sad because Mini Hopp hasn't been acting up. He's been very, very sad, standing by himself. He's not playing with anybody. And I'm sad because he hasn't destroyed anything at home. He hasn't destroyed anything for several days. Because Mini Hopp, he destroys stuff, but he hasn't done it. So Lille Skutt knows something's going on. Then Lille Skutt hears, like, help me, please help me. Somebody, please help me." So Lille Skutt said, "Where can it be? Who's calling for help?" The ones who's calling for help are actually pirates on the ship. Like and the whole ship and everything is up there in the trees. And how do you guys get up there? It's a big wave that came and threw us all the way up to the trees. So Bamse says, "Okay guys, I'm gonna help you because I'm very helpful. And I had done the honung, so I will help you." Lille Skutt's like, "No, we shouldn't help the pirates." And Bamse's like, "You know what? I'm very helpful. I help everybody. It doesn't matter who they are. If they need help, I'm gonna help them." And then, when Bamse of the ship in the water, in the water, a big wave comes and grabs Bamse and pulls him all the way into the ocean. So Bamse is like very, very far out, and the thunder honey he ate, the effects is going out because he doesn't become super strong forever, just for a while. So he has to swim, and then he sees
Rakt ner. Ingen vet.
it's an island. Oh, and he swims all he can until he gets to this island. Lille Skutt saw this happen, so he runs and tells Skalman, "Yeah, Skalman, Skalman, you know, Bamse needs help. Let's go and help Bamse. Let's go and help Bamse." So Skalman's like, "Okay, let's go." And then Lille Skutt says, "Faster." And Skalman's like, "It's a very, very, very slow turtle." He says, "No, don't curse like that. Don't go around and say curse words, because fast is a curse word." So he's like, "Start cursing, because when you say faster, you're cursing. So I'm gonna do this in my own pace." Skalman already knows what Bamse is because he made calculations. So it's like, we have to go 5 degrees, 6 degrees, whatever, that way. And then they find Bamse. But Bamse is not on an island. No, he's in something much more scarier than an island. He's in the big fish. And Lille Skutt says, look, I see Bamse. So he's like a big horn. And Bamse says, "No, stop. Stop using that horn, because you're scaring the fish." And Lille Skutt's like, "What is he saying? Why does he keep waving like that? Why? But Skalman understands. He's like, oh, stop with the horn. Something else is going on. Something bad is going on. So stop. And Lille Skutt beep, beep, beep. And then the big fish like,
Vad säger ni?
but it's a cute little fish. No, I mean, it's a cute, huge fish. It's not a cute little fish, but it looks very scary because it's so big. Like that. Like, oh, I caught a fish today. And it's like this big. Like that. So, and they save Bamse in the last second. And Skalman, he saves everybody because Victoria, they're on a boat called Victoria. And Victoria goes very, very, very fast. And they're chased by the big fish. Like, and the fish is falling like, and then the fish is so big, so it hits his head on the lighthouse, like, oh, yeah. But meanwhile, in the bad part of town, down by the harbor, where they have a bar, in that bar, they're selling the strongest juice they have. So, like, strong juice. And people are like, give me the strongest juice you have, that one. So, by the harbor is where the pirates live. And like, oh, and they're playing card games. It's like, give me 5 of this, give me 5 of that, 5, give me all your 5s. So then one of them comes and says, oh, hello everybody. Everybody's talking about a big fish, and everybody is super scared of this big fish. And the captain, he's like, what? Are everybody afraid of that big fish? They should be afraid of me, not that big fish, because I am the scariest thing out in the ocean. And then he starts singing, la 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 la, something. And while this is like a musical scene, all of the pirates go to the pirate ship. It's like singing. They go to the pirate ship and they go like, sail away, sail away. And it's a short, very cool scene where the big fish like, blah, 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 and destroys most of the pirate ship. So the pirates comes back and like, oh, that was scary. We need to do something against that fish, because then everybody is going to be afraid of the fish and not us. Captain Buster, he tricks everybody that he's a famous and very cool scientist, and he's the only one that can catch this very, very, very big fish. While this is happening, Hopp is still bullied in school. You know what? I don't need you guys because I have a new friend, and my new friend is very, very cool, and so I don't need you. So, and everybody, you don't have any other friends because you're so bad at playing the violin. Nobody wants to hang with you. And then Lille Skutt, he knows something's going on, so he starts following Hopp, and then he sees that Hopp's new friend is this gigantic fish, and he's very scared that the big fish is gonna eat Hopp. And Hopp's like, hello, let's play. And they start playing. So Hopp's like, and so Lille Skutt, what's going on? Why is everybody afraid of this big fish? Okay, it's a very big fish, but he's kind of my kid, so something must be going on. And then Hopp says, you know what? That is my friend Putte. Oh, she's a kid, so we are friends. But Lille Skutt is like, you know what? We shouldn't tell anybody about Putte. Putte should be our secret, so don't tell anybody. And Hopp explains that Putte is very far away from home, so she actually wants to go home, and she doesn't know how to. So she's very mad that everybody is scared of her, and everybody's trying to attack her all the time. Hopp says, we should help Putte get home. And Skalman, I agree, we should help Putte get home. And so does actually Lille Skutt. Even if Lille Skutt is afraid most of the time, he said, you know what? We should help my kid's friend to get home. Yeah, let's do that. Bamse, Lille Skutt, and Skalman, all their friends, they start fixing Victoria, the ship. So the trip is very, very long. And the journey is long and filled with storms. Eventually, they reach the right place and they discover that Putte lives 11 kilometers deep underwater. That's very, very far down. Skalman, he has a submarine. So everybody said, everybody into the submarine. So they go down like, yeah, she's like, she's falling along, and she's very happy that they're very close to her home. But then they discover that Putte's mother, She is being caught by a gigantic fish net and she can't get loose. So Bamse says, I'm gonna take all thunder honey and I'm gonna become super strong.
Spotten, vi hör hemma på land med en morot i hand.
And when he's super strong, he puts on his diving suit and he goes on the water. And he takes all this heavy garbage and stuff that own the mother. He's like, But the fishnet is very, very strong and he's losing power. And he's also losing air. And Skalman says, we have 9 minutes until the air is finished. So we have enough time to save the fish. So the only thing we need to do to get up is pressing this. And he falls asleep. So Mini Hopp and Lille Skutt is like, I don't know how to get up. I don't know how to get up. I don't know how to get up. But Mini Hopp, he sees there's a button that says, press this to get up. And he does. The boat finds Victoria by itself. Skalman is very clever. So Bamse doesn't know what to do. So a little swordfish is like, hello Bamse. And can I help you? And Bamse said, can I use your fin? So they're like, So they're cutting and they're destroying all the net. So most of the net. But then Bamse doesn't have any more air. So he starts swimming up. It's very, very deep down. He keeps swimming up. So when he gets to Victoria, he thinks his friend's gonna be there. But his friends ain't there. So it's like, Lille Skutt, Mini Hopp, Skalman, and Mini Skutt. Where are you guys? And then he hears, ho ho ho, I am the one that everybody should be afraid of because I'm the evil Captain Buster. Bamse, if you don't say that you're afraid of me, I'm gonna do something bad to your friends. And they're like tied in the pole or something. And Bamse says, no, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of anybody. So Captain Buster, he's like, charge the cannons and fire. And the cannons like, and Bamse's like, chup, chup, chup. He catches all the cannonballs. But he's losing strength. Like, oh, I'm not so strong anymore because I need more thunder honey. So he's like, oh, I need more honey. But he's losing his strength. So then the pirate says, you lost your strength, haven't you? Because you need more thunder honung. But you don't have more thunder honung. So, now I'm gonna shoot you. And just when they're gonna fire the last cannonball that could harm Bamse and Victoria, the gigantic mumfish. The pirates are very scared of the mumfish. Like, no! They felt, help us. And the mumfish is like, with her fin, she's like, what are you guys doing? You know, like pointing at them, well, you guys are bad. And they're like, I have a cannon. And Bamse is like, no, I have to try to help the fish. But he can't because he doesn't have his super strength or anything. He can't jump or anything. So they start firing like a cannonball on the big fish, and they go, pew. It doesn't have any effect at all because the big mom, she's like very, very strong and super big. She's like, and she kind of does something with the fin and a ship, but all the pirates, they get away very fast because like, let's take the lifeboats, and they like escape. So the giant fish arrives to save them all. And then Mini Hopp is like, I want to say goodbye, but Putte is gone and I can't say goodbye. So he starts playing his violin. And for the last time, she returns. She jumps beside Victoria, like saving Willie, like whoosh, jumps over. And they have a final farewell. And it's a very cute scene. Like Mini Hopp, like, and he likes her so much. He says, Putte, you and me are gonna be friends forever. So what do I think about the movie? Here comes my review. Bamse and the Secret of the Sea is a film about being an outsider and not having a friend. The wonderful happiness of finally finding someone who understands you. It is a grand adventure that takes Bamse, Lille Skutt and Skalman far from Småköping, across the open ocean, to the other side of the globe and deep down to the bottom of the sea. It's also a story about Captain Buster, who will do anything to regain his title of the Fear of the Sea. because nothing can stop him from becoming or still being the fear of the sea. Not even the world's biggest monster. The movie is very, very cute, and if you can find it anywhere, I recommend watching it. But my favorite Bamse movies are actually the old ones. It's Bamse and Tjuvarnas stad and the City of Thieves. The movie is very cute and I like it a lot. Bamse and the City of Thieves is my favorite because it has my favorite Bamse character, Vargen the wolf. He used to be very, very bad and he did a lot of mischief, but now he's one of the gang. And actually Vargen, he wasn't in this movie and I missed him a lot because he's my favorite Bamse character. But this one is very good too. Bamse and the Secret of the Sea. So if you can find them, they're very cute and I know your kids are gonna love it. And maybe you too, because it's a very, very cute story. Okay, thanks for watching. Are you from Sweden? Do you like Bamse? Tell me down in the comments if you like Bamse. I love Bamse and I read Bamse as a kid and I also read Bamse for my child. And Bamse is very cute and I love it. So, also, if you come from another country and is going to learn how to speak Swedish, I always recommend my friends to read Bamse because it's very easy to learn Swedish that way. So, thanks for watching and tell me down in the comments if you like Bamse or maybe you want to know more about Bamse. Tell me down in the comments. And while you're down there, please drop a like. If you drop a like, it's gonna help me a lot. And that's gonna be very great. Oh, and I wish you a happy new year. And also, while you're down there,
smash that subscribe button.
Subscribe, because if you subscribe, it's gonna be very cool. We can hang a lot with each other. And you know what? Bye bye hugs, bye bye hugs. Pom pom pom, pom pom pom, quédate, pom pom.